quarter of a mile. Turn right on Porter Avenue.
A beautiful, beautiful day in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. You know, it's hot, but we'll take in as much breeze as we can, have a good time, and share some highlights with y'all. You know, let's do this. So Ocean Springs is a city in the Jackson County of Mississippi. 2 miles, just about, east of Biloxi. It's considered a part of the Pascagoula metropolitan area. And but I'm really staying in Gulfport. So it's a 30-minute drive, give or take, from Gulfport to here. It's an artsy, touristy town. I was told about this when I was on a flight. I was on my flight on a small plane coming into Gulfport. Gulfport, the airport's pretty small, pretty tiny. So I was coming in on this aircraft, and I was talking to a gentleman sitting right next to me. He's familiar with the area, and he asked if I'd been to Ocean City, which I told him no. So he encouraged me to check out Ocean City, and because today my calendar is a little free, I'm here. You know, this place has a reputation of being an arts community, very artsy. It has a feel of a quaint, quiet, less crowded Fort Lauderdale beach. Imagine if, except of course for the waters, South Florida waters are blue. It's funny, being a person of Caribbean heritage, we can be beach snobs. I admit it. So we're accustomed to our sky blue, crystal clear waters. You can see the fish, you can see your toes. And then you come to Florida and it's blue waters, not as clear. And we opt to take it anyway because, it's what we can get. And then you go to other places and you see the difference and you start to appreciate the Florida waters. As you can see, I'm overhead right now with the drone, and depending on how far out you go, it gives a hint of blue, but for the most part, it is a murky water. It's funny, when I sent a picture to my wife said, "Oh, this water's dirty." You do find that on the Gulf Coast, and even up in Virginia. When I'm up in Norfolk, Virginia Beach, we go to the beach and it's murky waters that we wouldn't go into to swim, that is. But they appreciate it, and I'm just there, the beach snob, right? But it's a very happy coastal town. I was supposed to get on my Realtor app, which I tend to do wherever I am, to see kind of what real estate is like. I'm sure it's a lot more expensive here than it is inland in Biloxi and Gautier and Gulfport and stuff like that. However, I'm pretty sure price-wise is nowhere compared to the Fort Lauderdales and your Miamis and so forth. So if you want to live in a coastal town and by the water and have that boat life, you can have it here in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. As we go up and go over, this is their boat area. It's a lot of private vessels here. A lot of these are shrimp boats. Aesthetically beautiful. It's what I really appreciate about it is quiet and quaint. As much as it is their metropolitan area and it's supposed to be their metropolis, so to speak, it is quite quaint, quite quiet in comparison to home. You can close your eyes and walk across some of these streets and you won't get hit. And I'm talking about down here, as you can see overhead sometimes, vehicles are parked up, and whenever we bring the cameras above the roadways, you see a car pass and then you'll see another car pass a couple minutes later or so forth. But if this were home, traffic would be backed up, pedestrians would be backed up, so I in my opinion, it's one of the perks of this area is it still is quaint, small town Mississippi. Ocean Springs actually was voted as a top 10 happiest seaside town by Coastal Living back in 2015, and was also voted as a top 10 best coastal small town by USA Today in 2022. All right, it's a historic area. We're gonna drive through grab a bite a little bit in a few minutes. But as you can see, outlined with trees, oak trees, and a lot, shopping areas we're going to get into. But out here, it's just peaceful. I will say it is very hot, but again, I'm coming from hot. South Florida is ridiculously hot and ridiculously humid. It is humid here too, not as humid as it is in Fort Lauderdale. I was having a chatter with those at home, and I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning yesterday and checked the weather app, and at 5 a.m. when I'm leaving my hotel, it was 81 degrees. It is 97 degrees right now. But again, beautiful. People are out on the water, boat owners are out here enjoying this maritime experience. As you look down from the camera, you see some places are more murky than others, and they have these lanes, I don't know what you'd call them, next to the pier or in between the pier and other land masses where the boats come in. But aesthetically, if you're like me, just like the water and you like being on the ocean and nature and all that good stuff, you will enjoy it. You will enjoy it. Now, let's get this thing down, and then we can go to the other side, put it back up in the air. But overall, having a great day. Some people don't know, but Ocean Springs was severely damaged in August of 2005 by Hurricane Katrina. Many buildings along the shorelines, including the yacht club and all the wooden replica of, Fort Maurepas, all the stuff was destroyed. So they've built that thing back up. Now we're along Jackson, it's the name of the street, and the buildings you see on the right, a lot of them are private residences, huge as they may seem or look. That's when I entered, you saw me driving through. I was driving through private residences. This bridge right here, the Biloxi Bay Bridge, is beautiful too. I may have to drive across, not sure exactly where it leads to. But of course, I was told that there's good seafood restaurants here, so I'm going to head out to do that first. The funny thing, again, coming from a Caribbean background, when we say seafood, and apparently what other people say when they say seafood, are two different things. As a Caribbean person, when I think seafood, I think snapper and other saltwater fish, and I think Caribbean spiny lobsters and crab and shrimp and stuff like that. In other places, the Gulf Coast, Florida, other places, when they say seafood, they think of anything that comes from the water. Again, when we think seafood, we think squid, calamari, we think all that stuff. They think catfish, which is a freshwater fish. Not going to find that out in the ocean, right? They think bass, not sea bass, but, bass, which you generally find in lakes and canals. For us, that's not seafood. They think crawfish, which is not found in the ocean. So to us, that's not seafood. But nonetheless, they are from the water. So I get it. I just love the lush view you can get from the air. Again, if you look at the road down below, you'll see a vehicle passing by. I'm parked up along the side there, along with others. Two cars coming down, one car going up. It's the busiest it's been since I've been here. I met an older couple that were out in their car just enjoying the day. And they told me that they do this a lot. They come out and they just grab some beers. When I say older couple, they're probably high 60s, low 70s. They come out here and they grab a beer or a couple of beers and they sit down and just enjoy the scenery. I can get with that. I love that kind of vibe. And they're the ones that recommended where to go. Ended up recommending about 10, 15 places. So I'll be back out here tomorrow. And for as many days as I'm out here, I'll probably try to come out here as much as I can. Drive over this bridge to see where it takes us to. I'm thinking I did not drive over that bridge to get here, so I'm just wondering where it takes us to, but it's quite scenic, quite serene. I really dig it. Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Generally, I'm in the Gulfport area. When I'm on the road, I have so many things to do. I don't normally leave the hotel. My wife insists, you need to get out sometimes. Maybe it's corny of me, but sometimes it's a It's a little bit less fun when I get out and do stuff by myself and adverse to when she's here. So guess what? Next week she may have to fly in. But again, for a beach area, the beach is right there and the road's right there where people are driving by. Had that been South Florida, it would have been mayhem. You know, there's just a few people out. You'll see a little tent there on the beach. Just a few people out. Probably interacted with 2 people, right? And that was it. But from the skies, it's a beautiful thing. And I'm gonna make my way back a little bit later and check out some more of the scenery around here. All right. It's a lot of deep history about it, but again, I'm here for the optics, right? Yeah, let's get this bird out the air and go see some more of Ocean Springs. I'm thirsty. I need a beer. Let's do this. Yeah. Beautiful day. Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Check it out. Another beautiful day. I must say, it is somewhere I'd probably take the family to visit. Pack the bags up and come out here another day. Yeah, man. I will. I'll see you soon. So here we are at Marcello's. I was really headed to Glory Bound, which was recommended to me, but hey, let's try this. And guess what? I just saw. Mississippi. Oh, that was hilarious. So, had a bit of beer, nice lunch. I'm walking back to the vehicle under these umbrellas. Reminds me of Medellin. It's probably a play on Medellin, you know, just a lot smaller. The colorful umbrellas. But it's dope, man. Nice, refreshing couple of beers, and I'm headed back. Beautiful spot. I'll be back later to check out some other places. Maybe I should have breakfast here, you know, but check us out on YouTube. A lot more in store. See y'all soon.